Okay, guys, we gotta have a talk.
Serious.
Yeah, we have to talk about you believing that your home is the issue. All those design projects you couldn't take on, that look that you feel like you couldn't get, like your home is never designed. You've been blaming your home.
And it's you.
You're the problem. It's not the home, it's you. So we're gonna talk about that today. Hey guys, I am Shelby. This is Michelle. You can also call her mom. She's my mom and I love to share her with you guys. And we are Farmhouse Living. So today we are talking about the 5 thoughts that are holding you back in your home design.
Yeah, we're gonna bust some myths.
Yeah.
There's some lies that you've believed and we're gonna help you through that.
Yep. So the first thing is your budget. You believe that your budget is not big enough. And I get it. I mean, it sucks when you feel like you don't have enough money to do. Sometimes
Right.
I just want to blow out a wall and I wish my bank account was full and I
Right.
could just take out, any renovation. But that's not always possible. But Mom and I have done some projects that with very little, like your bathroom upstairs, we painted tile. We've honestly we've transformed spaces with only buying cans of paint.
Yeah, and let's be honest, everyone has a budget.
Yeah.
And so no matter how big your budget is, sometimes you can still wish it was bigger.
Yeah.
So if your budget is literally nothing, it's okay because that's going to help you even think outside of the box and be more creative with what you have.
Yeah. So when I was doing my Skyline project, it was a full renovation and it was expensive, but it was really a low cost renovation compared to most. And Mom gave me that pep talk that, your budget is what's going to stretch your creativity and really make you do something unique. And you, in fact, were right.
Yeah.
And it also helped me source supplies that I never would have used. Like I put wood beams in my ceiling and I was able to get those for free. And just random miscellaneous things that I never would have thought of if I could have just spent all the money without any issues.
Right.
So it really is a blessing if you go into it thinking that way. So even whether it's $50, how far can I go with $50 or
$50,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say $1 million.
$1 million.
I mean,
I could do something with that.
I could do something with that. But honestly, even new builds these days, I'm like,
I
good
know.
gravy. I mean, I would love to know where y'all live, because that really does give. I mean, we're in Texas, and like what used to be $200,000 houses are like
a lot.
A lot. So renovation is more expensive. Home design is more expensive, but your budget, there are options. So what we do when we don't have a budget is we first look for inspiration. So we don't look for inspiration within our budget. We're not thinking, how can I do this? We're just dreaming.
Yeah, just let yourself dream. If the sky were the limit, what would you choose? Those are the things we want you to pin or save so that you can let yourself go and think about how can I do this within the constraints of my budget? And there's always a way.
Yes. And so then you're going to put it together on one design board, make your design plan, and then you're going to make your budget. So you're going to reverse engineer the design plan that way. So a couple ways to do that we really have experienced some big savings is number 1, DIY. So not everyone DIYs, but we have found that, like we said, painting, you can flip a piece of furniture. I've done things that have surprised me. Like I even trimmed out my window in my bedroom and it made it look really high end. Whereas if I hired a handyman directly after that, and what did he charge us? Like $200 an hour or something.
Yeah, very expensive.
And so that project literally cost me $40. And if I would have hired a handy person to install that and paint it, it would have been pricey. So there are definitely ways to save big if you DIY. I understand that's not everything's DIY. Well,
I'm not so much into DIY, but I will say I do like when Shelby DIYs.
Another way that Mom is really savvy is she's a savvy shopper. So if you're not a DIYer, you're probably a shopper, and you are really good at finding things that are very designer looking or even designer at a lower price. So even back in the day before the internet was like everyone was posting dupes and knockoffs and all that on the internet, mom would go out and like source, like you'd buy things at sample sales and
yeah, we go to flea markets and Goodwill and different thrift shops. And
Yeah.
so there's always a way.
yeah, but now it's even better because the internet allows you to be able to find, there's the designer thing and there's the lookalike. And I do want to say that sometimes lookalikes get a bad rap. Like it can leave a bad taste in your mouth because you're thinking, well, they're just copying Restoration Hardware, they're copying Pottery Barn. But I just want to tell you that Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, Weston, all these big brands, they didn't come up with everything.
Right.
Like, there's nothing new under the sun, and a lot of these designs are inspired by, mid-century modern. I mean, all of that stuff was created in the 60s, y'all. So I like to just look at the options and look what has good reviews and look what fits in my budget. And so that's what's cool, that there's so many options these days because there's so many people, so many brands. And so Mom and I have actually put together a resource with all of our favorite lookalikes. You can look at these two design boards right here. One is almost $14,000 and one is just over $3,000. They look the same.
And honestly, sometimes we like the lesser priced items more than the more expensive item.
Yeah, I do love investment pieces. There are things that I want to, like makers and creators, and things that I know that will stand the test of time. Think like Mom's dining room table, we really will, or your breakfast nook table. That's like heirloom quality. There are things like that, but sometimes that, like, you don't want to make a big investment in a side table or, these accents, or there's certain things that you just don't want to make large investments. I'm in a season of my life where my kids are literally like getting all sorts of kid stuff on. I was gonna say snot and but trying to keep this up.
Spit up, snot, Crayola crayons, markers. Yeah.
And so I just don't want to make big investments right now in my pieces. I want things that if they don't make it, then
it's okay.
It's okay. So your budget is not the problem. There are definitely ways. You guys can download that resource with the lookalikes, but also if you just need, what would you do for this if you only had this much money? Just message us on Instagram and we can brainstorm. We like, especially Mom's got creative ideas on how to save. Her brain's always going that way. So you can do it. Thing number 2 that is holding you back in your design is you think that you're not creative.
Right. And you know what? Everyone was born to create.
Yeah.
You just have to tap into that. And sometimes you have to be inspired outside of your, self, and you can look to nature, you can look to Pinterest, like we've said, you can look to many different places for inspiration and just get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, I think the thing about creativity is a lot of people imagine a creative person just being able to come up with the idea with nothing, like just out of thin air. They're just coming up with these ideas. But I would say I'm a creative person. You are definitely a creative person. And a lot of times we need that inspiration to be able to come up with a creative design. It's not always just
right. I mean, sometimes it'll drop in our brain, but a lot of times we need to go and look outside of ourselves to be inspired.
Yeah. So if you're feeling stumped with creativity, here's what I would do. I would just start pinning inspiration. And as you're looking at this inspiration, think about these elements installed in your room. So maybe you like a mantle in one inspiration piece, but you like a coffee table in this one, and you like these shelves styled in this one. And so you're taking all of these elements from these different inspirations and you're combining them together. So that is a unique thing to you. So maybe no one's put all of these elements together, and that's your creativity. So even though it didn't come out of thin air, it's your own mix. It's your own spin on what you found. And so that's your creative genius. That is unique to you. It's special. And also it's an easy way to design without feeling, like just not creative.
Yeah, I think you have to be true to yourself, because if you're looking to create something someone else did, it's not going to be as authentic. But if you place everything in one space that you love, it's going to work together.
It's going to work.
Yeah.
So there, you have this draw. This is what you're drawn to. And I mean, we do like a lot of different styles, which we're going to talk about style in a minute. But somehow what we're liking, it just somehow goes together. So just trust the process, find your inspiration.
Don't try to be somebody else.
Don't try to be somebody else. And most of all, stop saying you're not creative.
You are.
You are. The third thing is you think that by the time you get this design installed, everything's going to be out of style. So you're trying to keep up with the trends. So what's the point of even doing it because the trends are going that fast? That's true, but...
Well, it is true. Trends do last about 10 years, though.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to focus on maybe your main statement pieces. And then don't spend as much on accessorizing so that you can switch those things out easily and you won't feel stuck. Go wild with pillows and art and things that are more trendy.
Yeah.
And then you won't have your feelings hurt if you have to replace them.
Yeah. So the big items, choose timeless. The accents, make the trends. So Mom, how do you find things that are timeless and classic to lay that foundation?
So I love things that come from nature. Y'all know that. So things that, pieces that are fine furniture made of solid wood, couches that are a little more upscale, or for me anyway, because I can invest in that. I do have dogs and I do have children around, but I do like a nice solid piece of furniture. So I would say that's how I find things.
I think neutral. So
neutral.
I know that I'm not saying if you go bold in color, that's an issue, but like if it's a bigger piece of furniture, like a sofa, then I would do something neutral.
Yeah.
And then you can do a cheaper accent chair or something in a color, or, rugs, they're always having sales and stuff like that. So you can do colors in other areas, but definitely your main pieces, keep them neutral, keep them to where you can layer those trends on top of them. And then it's always going to feel fresh and new. You would be shocked how fresh a space can feel with really small accents.
Yes. How long have I had my couches? Probably 12.
I was going to...
About 12 years?
Yeah, over 10 years for sure.
So they're just neutral and they have gone with every trend.
They were it was like kind of Tuscan before, and then it was kind of like French country
country.
And then it was like full-blown modern farmhouse. And now it's like this
sophisticated
coastal
farmhouse with a European flair.
So get something that can go on your design journey with you, and then layer those accents on top.
Right.
Don't be afraid of trends. There's a lot of timeless choices that you can make that make it worth your while to actually design your home. And you know what? If you've waited so long, start looking around because it might have cycled back.
Yes.
True. Like all the people that faux finish their walls in the Tuscan days, like lime wash is in. So
right. So you're back.
You're back. Congratulations. So the fourth thing that is holding you back in your home design is you think you don't know your style. So as we just discussed, Mom has been on a design journey, and that's because she loves all styles. And when I tell you all styles, I know we're called Farmhouse Living, but I mean, you love
everything. It's a problem.
Yeah. So that's not unique to Mom, though. When we used to take clients, or we talk to friends, or even you guys, people will be like, well, I really like farmhouse, but then I like have an eclectic, like I lean towards like this European look, and then I like coastal, and then I really love this like California cool look that I'm seeing Amber Interiors do, and then I also like this like French country, but then I like a pop of glam. And you're like, whoa, like you could never search that on Pinterest, but that really could. There's something, styles are melding together, and that's the fun part about design. There's a lot of things that it's mixing together and making these really cool, unique designs.
If you have a common thread, like with color or textures, if you have a common thread through that space, then it's going to be cohesive.
Yeah.
And so you can mix it all.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, if you need a strategy to do that, because I do know that's overwhelming, this is what I would do. Again, we're going to tell you to find inspiration. So clearly inspiration is important for your design process. But when you're finding inspiration here, don't let yourself be trapped by, is this in the category? Like, could I call this coastal farmhouse? Like, stop thinking about, does this fall in my design style? And just pin everything you like. So if you really love this look that has more vintage pieces, or you have this look, it looks very modern, just pin them, put them all in one space. And once you get, I would try to get more inspiration than less in this particular instance, and try to find a common thread or a couple common threads through that inspiration, and then just title it like Shelby's funky look, like whatever.
You probably want to lay it out on one board as well.
Yeah.
So take all the elements that you love and put them on one board so that you can see. There's multiple ways to do that. I have a little collageable app on my phone. You can use Canva. I've learned to use Canva.
She's learned to use Canva.
So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of ways, even if you have to print it off and stick it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Just find a way to put that all together on one page so that you can look at it and see this is going to turn out well.
Yeah. So the fifth thing that is holding you back in your home design is you do not have a plan. So what we're experiencing is people that are really creative like Mom, they don't make a plan because they're creative. So like, I should know what I want to do with my home. It's in my head.
And that's when your husband gets upset, because you need a plan so you can follow a budget.
You can follow a budget, and you can follow a timeline, because unfortunately without that, it's just gonna be, you're gonna be chasing squirrels, and you don't finish the room. And the next thing is the people who are more type A, more organized, they would typically make a plan, but they're like, I'm not creative enough to make a design plan. And so they don't. I'm here to tell you that whether you're like Mom or you're like me, you need a plan. You've heard in the last 4 items that you need to find inspiration and you need to put it down on paper. This is how you're going to be confident. This is how you're going to meet your budget. This is how you're going to meet your timeline. So a plan really is important. So don't write off a plan. Whether you're in my camp, Mom's camp, somewhere in between, it is, I would say it's the foundation of completing a room. And it's just, you don't have to be a designer. I mean, designers are amazing. Please don't hear that I'm saying if you are a designer or you love a designer or Mom and I are not formally trained. Mom has always been into home design, like loved it, had veranda magazines when I was like a newborn baby.
And I've hired designers.
Yeah.
I love designers, but sometimes you want to just design a space and get it implemented, and we're just here to tell you can do it. You can do it, yeah. So if you need support on making a plan, send us a message on Instagram and we can chat about it. Mom and I are actually creating a resource to help you guys make a design plan. So if you have specific questions, it will help us make the best resource we possibly could. It's in the works. I'm hoping to launch in November. I don't want to give a date before we have it all together. Yeah, and your questions could help us make it. Right. But if you want that information, even if you're just interested and you don't have a question, just send me a message on Instagram and I can share some behind the scenes details. Just send me a message and say, what should I say? Like, we should help me. Yeah, let's just chat, guys. We can talk about it and make it. Looks like we are losing sun. You can see this glare on Mom, but I hope this helps you like clear your mind from these lies, because really every home has potential, whether you're turning the shed in the backyard into a tiny home or you have a giant mansion. And every person is creative and every person has the ability to do this. Yeah. And we really do believe that there is purpose in having a beautiful home. It's not just like show it off on Instagram or be Pinterest worthy. There's so much
joy in making memories and honestly even creating it. There's that gratification of like getting your hands dirty and making your home something that just is unique to you, unique to your family in function and form and all the things. So we're very passionate about it, and I do hope that it makes you feel like it's possible, like you have hope.
So we are so excited to hear from you, and we hope you'll like this video and subscribe and share with your friends. And wait, we're coming back with some big news about our new resource. It's a course.
We're teaching you guys how to be your own designer. So anyways, if you need more design inspiration before the sun sets on us, right here I am going to share our Save or Splurge home tour, where we talk about all the ways that Mom splurged in her house and all the ways she saved in her house. So we talked a lot on budget here. You can see a lot about that right here. So on to the next video, guys. Bye.